Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I apologise that I haven't been making much content lately. Had an absolutely hectic month last month. We actually ran a couple of claim sales for sealed Pokemon. Discord had early access. We did around $200,000 worth of sealed Pokemon product there. And then I ran a little sale for my Facebook community, which we did probably another $100,000 worth of sealed there. So I had a busy month packing orders and making sure everything went right and running the sales, which in turn took me away from doing content. But now I've got a bit of time, I'm coming back. And today's topic, I wanted to just talk about reprints, restocks, whatever you want to call it. But I just wanted to touch base and I wanted to talk about a situation in particular in Australia, because I can't really speak for international markets. I'm in Australia, so I know more about this market than any others. So I want to give my opinion, and again, this is only my opinion. This isn't fact, or this isn't exactly how it works. It's just my way of thinking about what is going on right now, because we don't really get the transparency of what's going on. We can only put together the pieces and try and figure it out for ourselves. But I just want to put a lot of things to bed in terms of people thinking sets are short printed or Pokemon aren't printing enough for whatever reason. Go over things that they do to calm people down. So that's what I want to get into today's video. And at the end, I'm going to go through each set that's been released in Scarlet and Violet and give my opinion on the chances of that being reprinted and why I think it will or will not. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get into the video. So I just want to go over this, and this was a statement that Pokemon made about Prismatic Evolutions, and it's obvious that we know that it's selling out everywhere. Any stock that comes online is getting bought out. There's a lot of Discord set up now that alerts people when stock from major retailers comes in online. And look, I'll be honest, I've had to make something similar because I don't get enough stock from distribution, like nowhere near enough. I wanted to help my community get stock because I can't give them, the stock that they want. So again, I'm just trying to find ways to be able to support my community and get the things that they want into their hands. And again, it's not about supporting scalpers, or like you get a lot of heat online. I advertise my Discord, and again, I've been in the Pokemon game for over 10 years. I've been a collector. I've started a business in trading cards, and my main focus is Pokemon. All these name callings and all the negativity online, like, I think it needs to stop. It doesn't help anything. All it does is aggravate more people to get upset. So again, I think that is part of the problem. Again, you can call people scalpers or whatever, but again, that's just going to happen. That's the market. It happens every time that we get into this kind of market. So I don't think it's necessary. So I just wanted to go over this anyway. So Pokemon made a statement. It basically says that we are aware that some fans may experience difficulties purchasing certain Pokemon trading card game Scarlet and Violet Prismatic Evolutions products at launch due to high demand impacting availability. We understand this inconvenience can be disappointing for fans, and we are actively working to print more of the impacted Pokemon TCG products as quickly as possible at the maximum capacity to acknowledge this. Now, reprinted products are expected to be available at participating retailers as soon as possible to help ensure more fans receive opportunities to access Scarlet and Violet Prismatic Evolutions. Again, look, they go on to say there's more products coming, but don't be fooled by this. This is just the company statement to stop people from sending them messages and complaining, basically. So Pokemon are a business. Pokemon are going to make decisions based on their business and trying to make that as profitable as they can. So again, you got to see things for what they are. This statement is just something to calm people down. It does not affect what Pokemon are going to do with their print runs. If they know a set's in demand, they're going to print it regardless. So this is just to really silence people because they're sick of getting complaints and people messaging them saying that, I can't buy product. So I just want to get that out the way. The next thing I want to look at is, I want to give you an example of how big Pokemon is. Like, they are the biggest IP, they are the biggest franchise in the world, and as you can see here by a fair way, and Hello Kitty is a fairly distant second. We're talking $12 billion gap there. And you can see this orange part here is trading cards, so it's over $10 billion to Pokemon, so it is a big deal. So they do take it very serious. And again, this is just pointing out that, it is business. You can see here that this is their revenue. If Pokemon didn't care about making money, they wouldn't be at the top. So again, all their decisions made are based on being a profitable business. So you can argue, of course, they do care about their fans and they care about, their customers. But at the end of the day, they're going to print something to the ground if they think they can sell it. I think they're going to be very careful in terms of printing things that aren't as popular, so it doesn't sit there and kind of hang around. So you've seen that in the past, and again, I'm going to go over how this system works and the time it takes to get this information and process the information to where it gets from, okay, we need X amount, get that to the printers, and by the time that gets to distribution and then to stores, it's a long process. So I just want to point that out as well. So I've made this slide. Basically says, how does it all work? And again, I'm going to state again, this is my opinion. This isn't fact, but this is just based on my experience in the industry and putting the pieces together to make up my own conclusion of how things work. So again, number one, I've got the distributor orders 6 to 12 months in advance. And why that is important is, so when they make these orders, they're basing their order numbers on the demand at the time. They don't factor in what could be happening 6 to 12 months later. There isn't anyone qualified in distribution to make these calls to predict what's going to happen in the future. So if they see lack of demand, they're going to lower their numbers. And then by the time they realize that it's switched and there's more demand for a product, it's too late. And again, they're going to scramble to Pokemon saying we need more. But again, it's just a long process and it takes a long time for the cogs to turn. So that's why you do get a shortage of product, because it's not that they didn't order enough at the time. It's just that the market conditions have changed. Now there's more demand and they didn't order enough for the future. But at the time, they probably thought they were satisfied with the amount they ordered due to the demand they were having at the time. And if you look back when Prismatic Evolutions, the date that came out compared to when it had to be ordered, which is probably around Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade. Like back then, the demand was low. There was pallets of products sitting in the warehouse that they couldn't sell. So just imagine, just keep that in mind, and that's exactly what I think's happened in this situation. And now, distributions, not only in Australia, but around the world, are scrambling to get more product because the demand's just shot up, significantly higher than it was back when they had to place these orders with Pokemon. So number two, so Pokemon allocate based on orders worldwide. So again, touching back on that. So just imagine if everyone orders not enough, because at the time they thought that they did order enough. They didn't see that this massive demand surge was coming. Well, Pokemon are just going to go, okay, this is how much we need, and then we're going to get that to the printers. And in the meantime, the conditions are changing, and then all of a sudden, these distributors 3 to 6 months later, or whatever it is, 9 months, have gone, oh, hang on a second, demand's increasing. We see that there's a surge, that this bull market's here. We need more product. We're not going to have enough. So again, Pokemon just can't print that overnight. So now you're seeing, these highly in-demand products that are super expensive on the secondary market get reprinted, and it takes time. So you're not going to see them straight away, but they're in the works. So that's just want to cover that part. So number three, Australia receives stock from other regions if it doesn't sell well. I want to put this in there because I believe this is what happens. And I'll tell you why that I believe this. So Australia are logistically further away for Pokemon. So where the product's printed, we're far away from the printers. That's what I'm trying to say. So as a business, let's look at this from a business perspective. To send product to Australia is probably costly. It takes time. And again, we're not a huge market. So there's all these things that are working against us. Yes, they need to service Australia, and it's the distributor's job to make sure that we've got enough here initially. But again, we're very down on the list in terms of restocks and reprints, because why would Pokemon send stuff to Australia if they could sell it, in regions that are a lot closer? They're going to cost them a lot less to get there, if that makes sense. So I find that Australia gets a lot of stock that can't move elsewhere, and that's a lot of the restocks we see. So I just want to list that there because I do believe there's some truth to that. So I just wanted to put that out there. So now, things to consider. Number one, how long has the set been out for? This is talking about sets now. So we know Pokemon is a trading card game. People play it, and that is a big factor into how the cards are printed, what the mechanics are, and stuff like that. So there is that playing aspect to it, and they tend to rotate cards every 2 years. So that gives me a time frame of when I can expect products to be reprinted if they're going to be reprinted. So I've got a 2 year window here. So number two, how high is demand for that set? So that's basically saying how popular is a set when it comes out. Is it selling well? Is it not? That's going to impact Pokemon's decision whether they need to print more or not. And number three is priority. So what I mean by priority is, okay, well, yes, there might be a set that's running lower out at distribution, but now we've got this other set that's way more popular, and we need to get more out there because it's getting out of control. So that might take priority over something that was released in the past that didn't have as much demand. But yes, it might be out of stock still, but they might prioritize something else that's in higher demand because prices on the secondary market are getting out of hand and they're getting more complaints, as we're seeing now with Prismatic. So that's going to take priority. So that's what's going to be in the printers first. So let's go on to the next page. So I started at Scarlet and Violet. This is my little table that I've made, and I've included some data because I'm a very data-driven person. I like to speak on data, not on he says or she says. It's not speculation here. This is compiling data and making an educated guess about what could possibly happen. So we started at Scarlet and Violet. I've got release date here. So that released in March. So why I've got release date there is because of what I mentioned before. We got this 2 year window of reprint. So Scarlet and Violet, yes, time's gone very quick. We're almost at the 2 year mark. So, end of March 2025 will be the 2 year mark for Scarlet and Violet. So the chances of this being reprinted is extremely low. That's why I've got 5%. So again, we see a set value of $900, so that has upticked from a few months ago. We've seen a huge surge in popularity for these older sets. A lot of the art rares and the SIRs have gone up in value because people realise how good they are, and there's a lot more people coming into the hobby, hence more demand for these products. And we didn't see huge numbers of reprints or restocks. We didn't see any for that matter. So again, speaking from an Australian lens, we didn't get a restock. I do believe that distro still has stock from release, so that factors into whether we're going to get a reprint or not for Scarlet and Violet. And you can see in previous eras with base sets, we didn't get reprint to them, but they're doing extremely well in terms of their price on the secondary market. So a box price is shot up to $235 now, and all this data comes from pokedata.io. I'll leave the link in the description so you can have a look for yourself. And then the next one I got here, restocked. No, we didn't see a restock in Australia, and again, this is Australia I'm talking about. And the chance of the reprint, I put 5% because there's always a chance of something happening. It's still within a window, but I just highly doubt that it's going to happen. Next, we got Paldea Evolved, released June 9th in 2023. So again, we've got about 5 months before that 2 year window goes away. And this did sell out at our local distribution in Australia. We've only got one here. Did sell out mid last year or towards mid to late last year. So it has been out of stock for a good 5 months or so. Box price in the secondary market $330, got a set value of $1,800. That shot right up. So I think it's actually surpassed Twilight Masquerade now. So a lot of value in Paldea Evolved currently, and that's why we've seen the box price shoot up. I did make a video about how I calculate opportunity in sealed boxes. You can go look at that. I'll post a link in the description as well. So it's just a bit of a formula that I created myself to show you what's in opportunity range and what isn't based on set value, time, and the price of the box. So again, let's move on. I put a 15% chance on Paldea for the simple fact that I don't think it's going to get restocked in Australia. I do believe that the US did have restocks of this already. I do believe that they had the next one as well, but we'll go over that very shortly. But I put 15% here just because the window's still 5 months away from being retired. But I still think it's a very low chance of us seeing any more Paldea Evolved, and I'll reiterate that into say booster boxes. We could get auxiliary products that contain Paldea Evolved. That's highly possible, but I don't think we're going to see booster boxes of Paldea Evolved again in Australia. Again, my opinion. Obsidian Flames, again, not a lot of value in this set. It's currently sitting at 571 Australian dollars. released in August 2023. So again, that's around 6 months away now. So yeah, I think that's the same chances as Paldea. I think it's a low chance at 15%. Boxes are nearing 300 AED despite the low value. This set sold really well. It actually sold out at distro before Paldea, even though it came out after. So that tells me, that data alone tells me that Obsidian Flames is a popular product amongst consumers in this country. So that's what data I like to look at. Again, I take everything holistically and put it all together to compile, all this data together to help me paint a picture of what's going on. So again, I put that at 15%. I think it's very unlikely, but still a possibility. So Scarlet and Violet 151, September 22nd, 2023. So again, it's over that 1 year mark, but closer to the 1 year than 2. We see a set value of 2,274 Australian dollars. When I say box price, I'm talking about ETBs for holiday sets because you don't have a booster box. So $281 for an ETB. And again, I like to consider 151 as a nostalgic set, and there's nostalgic value attached to that. So that affects the price. It's a very popular set. It brings a lot of people back into the hobby. We did get a restock in Australia. So we got mini tins and we got bundles back. We didn't get ETBs. Well, now there's speculation that we might get Blooming Waters in Costco in Australia around March. So I'll put that at 50-50 because I think there is a good chance that we do see more 151 just because Pokemon know that it's extremely popular. If they do print more, it's not going to sit around and there's still high demand for the set. So I'll put that at a 50-50, but I do think that we're likely to see more 151 in a product like Blooming Waters. Next up, we got Paradox Rift. Again, this is going to surprise a lot of people. Came out in November 2023, sitting at $1,470 as a set value to complete the set, which is pretty big. Paradox Rift never got the attention or the spotlight like I think it deserves. It's a great set. People are starting to realize that. And you can see the box price shot up to $248 now on PokeData.io data. So we haven't got it restocked. I don't think we will see a restock of Paradox Rift. I put 15% just because there's always a chance within the window, but I highly doubt that we're going to see Paradox Rift in booster box form in Australia ever again. Next up, we got Paldean Fates. Come out January 2024, so it's been a bit over a year now since Paldean Fates come out, and it's another one that surprised a lot of people. I've always liked it. It's got a lot of OG baby shinies. It's got very few SIRs, but they're all stunning. The Mew's taken off lately. The Charizard's a nice looking card, and the Gardevoir still very, very beautiful card. Again, people are starting to realise the value. No one wanted it when it was $49 an ETB, but now everyone wants it. Now it's shot up, $158 for an Elite Trainer box. People would have told you that you were crazy if you told them that it was going to be $158 in today's market. But here we are. We see people chasing it. So, yeah, in terms of restocks, it hasn't been restocked yet. Don't believe that we've seen ETBs again. We did have a bunch of bundles come up after release, around mid last year. So that could have been a restock that we had in Australia. So again, that I'll just put no because I can't confirm that. But yeah, I'll put that at a 35% chance that we might see Paldean Fates, and understand that with holiday sets, we talk about, there's a lot of auxiliary products that can come out, and I had to bunch it up in that factor, whereas the other ones I'm just specifically talking about booster boxes. But yeah, for holiday sets, I'm going to be a bit more lenient on that. I'm going to say there's a 35% chance that we might see some more Paldean Fates products. So take that as you will. So next page, we got Temporal Forces. So Temporal Forces come out in March 2024. And again, I'm going to highlight that this is probably around the time between now and May, which was when Twilight was out, is when they did orders for Prismatic. So keep that in mind, that this is how long it takes, from order to fulfillment when you're a distributor dealing with Pokemon. So Temporal Force is another one that's been under the radar, $13.93 set value, actually sitting just below Paradox Rift, which is surprising. Box price $270. People are starting to realise the value of Temporal Force. It's a stunning set. It's got a lot of beautiful arts in there. I don't believe we've had it restocked. It's still available at distribution. So we've still got stock there, but it's been dripped out very slowly. And again, I put that at a 15% chance for those reasons. Again, we've still got stock at distro from, the release. So I don't think that we're going to be ordering more. Again, there's always a chance because it's still within the window. But again, I don't see it happening in this market in these current conditions. But again, anything can change. I just put that at 15% because I just don't believe that we will. So next up, we got Twilight Masquerade. Again, hugely popular set. Greninja's always done very well. And that came out in May 2024. So again, it's only been out for around 8 months. We've got a set value of 1,772, which is sitting just below Paldea, as I said before, with a box price of $300. So again, hugely popular set. At the time, it was the most popular set in terms of set value. So the market did price this very highly compared to other sets. I don't believe it's been restocked. I do believe that we've got a little bit left at distribution, but they're being very cautious of how much they let out currently, is my understanding. But again, there's not a lot there, I don't believe. Are we going to get restocked? I think it's a higher chance than the rest, just because it came out later and it sold a lot better. So I'm sure if our distributor can get more Twilight, they're not going to say no. But yeah, I'm going to put that at a 35% chance because I think it's less likely than it is more likely, but still a decent chance that we might get more Twilight. Shrouded Fable. Again, everyone thought this was terrible. The data says otherwise. Again, a lot of playable cards, which might skew the data a bit, which might lose a lot of value once the set goes out of rotation. But let's look at today's data. Come out in August. $1,064. The Persian has been taken off lately. A couple of other cards in there that are doing really well, like the Houndoom. Again, people are seeing that there are nice cards in this set. The art is appealing. It is a very, very small set, so having a set value of $1,000 plus for such a small set is actually pretty good. And we see ETBs still relatively cheap at $73. So restocked, no, I don't believe we're going to see a Shrouded Fable restock just because it wasn't that popular. So I could put that at 15%. But again, anything's possible. We're still within the reprint window or the restock window. So yeah, I'm definitely open up to more product hitting the Australian market. Next up, we got Stellar Crown, September 2024. Didn't come out too long ago. It's been around 5 months. Again, didn't perform too well in terms of set value. I think the inclusion of Squirtle and Bulbasaur really, really helped this set. If they weren't in this set, it would have really struggled. But yeah, look, people like to chase those two cards, the original starters. The art's very good. And you're seeing that those have gone up in price recently. So again, a very modest $876 set value. The box price surprisingly has shot up to $268. Even though it's a new set, I still believe we do have Stellar Crown at distro. Again, it's not really available to order, but some people are receiving Stellar Crown still. So I don't believe there's any reason to restock this at the moment. But in saying that, I still think it's a high chance just because that there's still a large window and the price has crept up to $268. So I put that at a 50-50 chance just because of those reasons. So I do think we still might see some more Stellar Crown in Australia. So again, this isn't financial advice. This is just my opinion. If you did miss the boat on Stellar Crown, we might get another chance to get some cheaper boxes. But again, anything's possible. Now we're getting to the last two Surging Sparks. Just come out in November. Wasn't too long ago. The set value continues to go up. We've breached $3,000 now. There's so many good cards in this set. Again, amazing set. The box price is already over $400 and it only just come out a few months ago. So that just tells a story right there. And we can confirm that we're getting a restock here. It is due in March, so next month. So the chance of that happening is 100%. And yeah, that's for the reasons I just stated. We have been confirmed that the restock's coming. We don't know what it looks like. I don't expect it to be huge just because of the demand worldwide. But yeah, some good news and some relief for people in Australia that we will be seeing more Surging Sparks. So this could make prices a little bit more affordable for the set. But I just don't think that we're going to see prices sub $200 or even $250 for this set because people know the value in there. It's an extremely popular set with a lot of nice cards. So I think anything around that $250 mark, if you see it for a booster box, is going to be a buy. So it's going to age really well, this set. So last but not least, Prismatic Evolutions, the set everyone's talking about. Some crazy, crazy numbers to discuss here. I just want to go back to what I said about Temporal Twilight, how that, when Distro ordered these sets, and this goes for all distros around the world because we've seen the same situation. So when they ordered for Surging and Prismatic, the demand was a lot lower. These, Temporal and Twilight at the start, there was still an abundance of stock after release. We weren't seeing sets sell out before release. It was a very different climate. So, they've based their ordering on, that data they had at the time. That's why we've seen this supply crunch now, because they didn't anticipate the demand to be this strong, at this point in time. So again, it's not that Pokemon are short printing sets. It's just that they've based their decisions on what was happening at the time, and now the market has changed considerably, and now everyone is just trying to get more product because the demand's there. So that's all that's happening right now. It's that simple. We don't have to overcomplicate it. Whatever people say out there, and again, this is my opinion. I'm not going to go and regurgitate what everyone else is saying out there. This is what I see is happening right now, and that's why I want to tell everyone my opinion. So Prismatic just come out in January, so it's barely been a month. It hasn't even been a month. Set value still over $13,000. This set's it's a once in a lifetime set, I believe. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like this again. It's a lot of value. It's a lot of firsts. The Master Balls, the full God Packs that are worth a fortune if you can pull one. There's just so much happening for this set, in terms of even the art, the Pokemon in the set. The Evolutions is a huge draw card. You can even argue that Umbreon these days is a bigger draw card than Charizard. So it's probably the biggest draw card in Pokemon right now. So there's just a lot of value here and a lot of firsts. It's going to be an historical set. It's going to be spoken about for many, many years, and it will never stop being spoken about. People will not stop ripping this set as long as there's product out there to rip. It's just too good. Even though the pull rates, are dismal as we've seen, it's that chase and that chance to hit something big that we haven't seen in Pokemon. This is the set to do that. So I like the fact that, things are actually scarce again and they've got value. I really like that about Pokemon because it's the chase that, people love. The collector love the chase. If things are too easy, well, you kind of just give up and you lose interest. But when the chase is there, it just keeps you engaged. So, yes, we're going to see more stock. That's confirmed. We see ETB is $181 currently. That might seem like a lot, and it is for a set that's just been released, but you just got to understand that there's so much value in this set. Regardless of whatever you think's going on with scalpers or whoever's coming into the hobby, the demand's always going to be there regardless. So, yeah, I think $180, it does seem steep, but, for what you get in this set or what you got a chance to pull, I think that 180 over time is going to seem like a steal in a couple of years. So take that as you will, but 100% chance we're going to see more. It's going to get reprinted. That's confirmed first half of this year. So yeah, that's my take on what's going on right now. I hope you enjoyed that. And again, I just want to reiterate, this is just my opinion. Could be totally off, but again, this is just my experience in the industry that I want to share with everyone. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video.